Hello, hello, and welcome to your favorite podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space. As usual, I'm your host, Kevin, and we definitely got a thin staff today, but of one of the thin staff to have, who better than Michael Pinchek? You want to say hi, Mike?
Hey, everyone.
You know what? I added your last name again, though. I mean, I guess I have to edit that out so you don't get doxxed.
Yeah, that's right.
I got to remember that when Johnny's here, though, because he'll get mad at me. Or
yeah,
possibly.
right.
Anyway, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. That background is sick. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm totally jealous. I'm just sitting here chilling in Exceller.
Yeah. Well, that's all. I always love that background.
Yeah. I love it there. Not only, or I mean, here. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm actually in a green screen too. It's a picture of Exceller.
But my favorite part is the long box lid up there that in 91. Yeah, you and I came in 91. We drew up that logo.
Yeah, we came up with the name, and then you, being the artist of the two of us for sure, came up with the original look. And there it is. And you can't really obviously see it. Maybe I need to, for the future, take a close-up picture, but there's a Polaroid there at the end that's a picture of both of us.
Yeah.
And, at that point, 91 or whatever. So, we look a little different then.
Yeah, I think we only had about 2,000 comic books at that time.
Right, yeah.
Which, to some collectors, that's an awful lot. But
yeah, which was
where we are.
Right, it was good for us then, yeah. So I was just asking you before we started. Mark was around for a minute, so I didn't know if we wanted to maybe start with Mark, since, like I said, we're short Patrick for our collectibles on the horizon segment. We're still short Johnny. We've got no Tyler fill-in host. We're actually short a moderator today too, so I'm going to do my best to try to keep track of comments as they come in for anybody watching. But anyway, we can just start with the collectibles on the horizon to have Mark kind of show off what he got that he's, I'm assuming he's recommending everybody needs this because it's so epic, right?
Yeah. He's on his way. I can hear. Oh, all right, here he is. So right. I'm gonna step out and let him stand here. And I'm gonna
all right, cool.
Outside.
Okay.
All right, show's yours, bud.
Okay. I got the dog saber.
Oh, that is cool. And where can we pick that up at?
Walmart for like $20.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is you can push a button and this comes out, and then the kyber crystal. So
okay.
And that's where.
Very cool.
That's my
The thing's awesome. Can you kind of hold it out like this? Kind of across the screen. Yeah, there. Can you go to one side or the other so we can see the whole thing at one time? The other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that is very cool. Nice. All right, I appreciate it, Mark. That's so. Anybody who's looking to get a cool Darksaber can pick that up at Walmart, Target, your usual kind of department stores and such, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Thanks. That is Mark's Collectibles on the Horizon segment. Good job, Mark. Good fill in.
It was.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. So I got a surprise here.
Oh yeah, who's that? Oh, it's not a person.
Here it is.
Oh, let me see.
It is Tom, the giant Batman himself. Hello, Tom.
Hey, can you hear me all right? My sound on my end was cutting up a little bit during that last segment. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So how's it going?
Pretty good. Big movie opening this weekend. I haven't seen it yet. I did go as Batman to the local movie theater here, and I sort of hung out with the car in front of the entrance for a few hours yesterday. Got people coming and going. it was a lot of fun.
That is awesome. I bet that's great. I haven't seen it. You didn't see it either, Mike, right?
No, we plan on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're definitely planning on it soon. I think Lexi may have seen it last night with her boyfriend, but yeah, I haven't seen it either. Although I'm super excited. There's just a lot going on. So, hey, since Tom is here, I want to take advantage first to share this real quick. I might not show the whole thing, but this is Tom. This is Johnny's brother. And he is also known as the Giant Batman. And here's a really cool video clip of his that he shared with me. All right, I obviously shared the whole thing. Because the coolest part of that, I mean, obviously the whole thing's extremely cool, but it's really cool at the end there where you time your emergency brake with the ending. It was awesome. So,
Yeah, I took that footage on my way home from a birthday visit that I did. I think it was November of a little over a year ago. So it was getting kind of late in the season where the sun was going down a little earlier, and so it was kind of dusk when I left there. So I took that video footage on the way home and then kind of cut it up there because I thought it looked kind of neat with the traffic lights and stuff.
Yeah, it was
with
very
the red
cool.
lights and all that.
Yeah.
And then I have a still shot at the end there too in the garage. I like the lighting in the garage with the kind of semi backlit. Looks pretty neat.
Yeah, you shared a couple still shots with me. I don't think the one you're describing is in there, but this is kind of what you look like from the whole.
Yeah, somebody that picture is from in the wild. Sometimes I'll come across pictures that people take and end up posting on Facebook or something like that. So, that was just right? Somebody who saw me out on the road and took a picture and posted it, and I came across it somehow.
That's very cool. And then this one's I love this one. This isn't the same exact costume too, because your costume has evolved, right? This is a bunch of your different masks, right?
So, yeah, so I use that one in the middle now. It is my favorite. Just I like the look of it. It looks a lot like the way Batman looked when we were kids, kind of that Neil Adams type look with straight ears.
Yeah. Well, it's very cool. And then this is kind of the whole deal here. You got the wingspan and everything going on there too. So yeah, I can only imagine people seeing this kind of thing when this new movie came out. It was probably kind of epic for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, it's really fun seeing kids react, and even adults or teenagers. Sometimes
even adults. Some adults too.
Sounds like, oh, there he is.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
You know, like when they see, they'll just scream. Yeah. And
Yeah,
the kids
yeah,
will jump up and down and stuff sometimes. And some of them get really shy and, you know, they want to keep their distance. So it's fun to see the different reactions, you know.
Yeah, and you do a lot with the kids, obviously. There's, and that's your family, right?
Yeah, that was the first year we did it for Halloween. And I made costumes for the kids and stuff too. And we didn't have the car that year. That was the first, we were watching a Batman cartoon, which would often happen at our household. Months earlier, like I want to say March, April, something like that. And my wife says, "When are you going to be Batman for Halloween?" Because you know I had like a black Spidey suit, and we did one year. I was
here.
like, you know, General Zod one year and stuff like that. When you know, so she said that, and I knew what it takes to do a Batman costume is kind of, you know, to do it right takes a lot of effort or money. Right?
Yeah.
So when she said that, I was kind of like, "Are you you giving me the green light to do that?" You know, she has no recollection of this conversation at all, but
of course,
it totally happened. And so, you know, beginning from that moment, I started, you know, researching, bookmarking, you know, what would I do for a belt and what would I do for a cowl and, you know, gloves and all that stuff and kind of, you know, pieced it together. And then kind of late, you know, it was coming up maybe in September or something like that, decided to get the rest of the family in on it too. And you know, put those other costumes together. And so they're, the Batgirl one was like kind of a repurposed Batman Brave and the Bold costume pieces that we had from when the kids were younger, and I put like a new face piece on it. And the Robin suit is like starts with a t-shirt with the sleeves cut off with, you know, another shirt underneath it and stuff. So it's pretty simple stuff for most of those costumes. But and even my costume, like I'm just wearing gray tights, but I painted that bat on there. But you know, the key is to get a good cowl, you know, and then the rest ends up being pretty forgiving. And I got some pretty good boots and stuff too. One other, besides the cowl, one other big upgrade I did but a little bit, I guess, a year and a half ago or something like that, was I got that new belt with the big leather pouches.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And that's fun because I can put some, the pouches on my first one were not very roomy, so I couldn't put as much in them. Now I can put, you know, kryptonite in there, batarangs, and all that stuff, and it looks a lot like, it's sort of based on the way Jim Lee drew the Hush comic belt, you know, so that's pretty good too. Which my bat is kind of based on that too, on my chest. And then the other piece that I upgraded was the cape. The first cape I had, I bought it from someone on Etsy. And when I got that second cowl that had, it was kind of like, it's from Arkham Origins, but it's kind of like the one from the Dark Knight movies where there's no neck. So I needed something. It had a neck piece, but it's the Arkham Origins one, so it looks kind of armory. I didn't really like wearing that with the rest of my suit because it didn't really match the style. I was sort of going for a classic style. So I ended up making my own cape with a hood attached so that I could, you know, have that, the neck that looks almost seamless, you know.
Right.
But then when that new cowl came out that looks like the way we like Batman to look, I changed to that one, and it's still, I can move my neck a little bit in that better than my first cowl, so it's kind of like in the middle as far as mobility. But
gotcha.
That's about it.
Well, that's awesome.
It's pretty well set, you know. I guess one other thing is in the winter, or when the weather's not too hot, I sometimes do wear like like in that clip you saw, I'm a little beefier there than I am in real life because I have like this kind of Hollywood style muscle suit that I could wear underneath that kind of functions like a winter coat when it's cold. So I wore that yesterday because it is very warm, but Well, if you wear that in the summer, it's hot enough with that cowl on. But you know, I about had a heat stroke one time trying to wear that in the summer. So I kind of just make a judgment call based on the weather, whether to wear that or not.
Did you have Robin in your car with you whenever you showed up last night at the premiere? Could you hear me? Hello? If you're talking, we can't hear you. We lost you, Tom.
Yeah, the cow he has right now is my favorite one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with the evolution he's done over the years.
Yeah,
and hopefully he can pop back in because I wanted to kind of give him, a second to kind of promote, because he actually does this. Hey, Tom, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now again. I don't know whether you were saying anything.
Okay.
We couldn't hear you there for a bit, though. Did you hear my question about, was Robin there with you last night?
Yeah, I didn't take Robin. The weather was still a little cold, so I didn't even bother trying to scare up Robin because, the funny thing is, like, my son started out as Robin, but right around the time that I got the car and started doing this, like, outside of Halloween, all the kids, thought they're too cool for it or something, they all think it's, their friends all love it, but they're kind of like, this is kind of weird. They're kind of embarrassed by it a little bit, and they're afraid that, like, their friends are going to think that we're weird or something. But then their friends always react well to it. They love it.
Right. Yeah.
But
so
I have another kid who goes out as Robin sometimes, but again, it was cold, so I didn't bother trying to get a Robin.
So you have multiple Robins, like the real Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, you got multiple Robins.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you might be. Are you driving around on your phone and everything? Is that how you're talking to us?
Yeah, I'm in the car right now. I've got my earbuds in.
Okay, so before we lose you again, I wanted to give you a chance to, promote what how people can get a hold of the Giant Batman to actually utilize your services. How would people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm in Southeast Michigan, in the Canton, Plymouth area. So I mostly service Canton, Plymouth, Westland, Livonia, pretty much anywhere that's within about a 20 or 30 minute radius of that Canton, Plymouth area.
And what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
The best way to find me is on Facebook. Just look up the Giant Batman, and you'll find my page and contact me through Messenger or whatever on there. I think my phone number's on there too.
All right, very cool, man. That is awesome. I really appreciate you popping in, especially today. We're really short staffed, so this was perfect timing for you.
Yeah, I mean, I can stick around on the line and listen in and chime in as.
Okay, cool. You can hang out for a bit. Okay, cool.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. All right, awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, the next thing I wanted to talk about was actually something we talked about a couple times already, but I finally figured things out regarding the podcast poll and the kind of customer interaction. I guess I don't know exactly what it's called, but if you go to Spotify, you can see a poll that I put there on every podcast, and it also has a general question that people can kind of chime in, and just kind of elaborate any way they want on whatever subject I put in there. And I finally figured out how to see that because that was my problem. Not only were people having a problem finding it, which I realized it's only Spotify. So if people are utilizing, well, it looks like we lost Tom anyway. If people are utilizing, some other, Google Play or Apple, whatever ways you can see or listen to our podcast, you can't see those things. It's a Spotify thing.
Wow.
So I think that's what was going on with Patrick. He was saying, I can't remember where he said he was listening to it, but it's literally a Spotify thing. So you have to be listening to us through Spotify to participate. So that being said, my second correction is I think I told you it was either last week or the week before that I'd only gotten 2 answers up to that point.
Right.
And they both were you or something like that, right? Yeah. But I was completely wrong. I went back and I looked through the segments and there was like regular answers and participation.
Really?
Yeah, I felt so bad, especially since, within a week after I find out, or I mean, within a week after I call everybody out, aside from you, that no one's participating, then I discover that people are participating, right. And I just haven't been seeing it. I actually got a question from a viewer that I want to put up, and then I'll answer it real quick. And it's my mother. And she's asking if I'm actually in Exceller. So I've got a green screen. I'm not actually in Exceller. The jig is up. Mike is actually not in Gotham City.
Not in Gotham.
But I put a green screen up, and that's just, then I took a good picture of Exceller, and that's what you're seeing, Mom. So there, I just want to answer that question real quick. So anyway, we lost you there for a second, Tom. You back? Did you drop out purposely, or did it just? There's not a regular episode without this kind of technical difficulty. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the move in his cell phones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you are. We heard you again.
Okay.
But anyway, so I felt bad that the week after I call everybody out that I'm not getting any comments, then I find out I'm actually been getting comments and answers to the poll. So I apologize to everybody and anybody who I may have done wrong by saying I'm not getting any participation. I could go through the list from episode 1 because literally there was responses, I think, as early as episode 3. But I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to start doing it right from here. Okay?
Yeah.
So last week's question was, what was your favorite regular segment of our podcast? Now that we've kind of got regular segments, I figured that was an appropriate question. Mm-hmm. And we actually got 3 votes on just that question. And the first one was the winner, the highest percentage, 63 or 64%, something like that, was the top 3 covers coming out this week. And then we got one of the votes, which I guess was the other 33% or whatever. Someone voted. And I can't see who votes too. So everybody know it's just anonymous. So, you never have to feel uncomfortable about being the one called out that you were the singularity vote. But anyway, then we got 1 vote for what we read. So
I think that was me.
Okay. So you lost, Mike.
Yeah, because I like to I like to hear what everybody's reading. Well, obviously that's the vote.
Yeah. I don't know who else. Like I said, I don't know who the other 2 were, but someone else voted and said that. So then the second part of the audience participation question, whatever you want to call it, on the podcast was actually replied to as well. And I think I still got that up on my phone because it was actually kind of pretty vivid, which I like. So let me find that real quick. Sorry. Actually, I did the same thing that I told everybody not to do. Don't pull it up in Anchor. Pull it up in Spotify because you can't see it in Anchor. Okay, so the question was, what's your opinion of the entire season of the Book of Boba Fett? And I got 1 reply, which was, I'm Exceller's biggest fan. Kevin's resplendent personality soaks my Marshall speaker every weekend. Likely it will be in ruins soon. I hope you Keystone chaps the best. So it had nothing to do with Boba Fett. But it was nice to have a chime in like that.
So the question is still unanswered.
So if I don't come up with a new better question this week, maybe I'll just repost that one.
Yeah.
So Tom, since we've got a different perspective here, what do you think? Did you get a chance to watch the Book of Boba Fett? I guess I should say first.
I haven't seen anything on Disney Plus yet. Eventually we'll get it and we'll probably binge a few things, but so far we haven't had anything that's like, oh, we've got to see that. Let's go ahead and do it. We're still letting things bank up. So
yeah, it's definitely
I still like listening to you guys talk about it, but yeah, I haven't seen it firsthand.
You know, I don't know whether you had a chance to listen to last week's podcast or not yet, but last week I watched Injustice. Do you have HBO Max? Are you watching Batman stuff on there?
Yeah, I saw that was on there. I agreed with you. It seemed like a waste of opportunity that they didn't they could have done their first 3D. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the studio that does the video game. You know, there'd be some collaboration that would be involved there, but I think that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I saw it. Was kind of like, well, it's 2D, but I still watch those a lot. I'm sure I'll get around to watching it at some point. I haven't caught that one yet. The one I watched on, I think it was on HBO Max last week, was Free Guy. You guys talked about that a little bit. And last night we watched, not really a geek culture thing necessarily, but it was The Last Duel. And it had the same actress in it, and I don't know her name, but I was saying to my wife, it seems like this happens a lot, where we'll watch movies back to back, and they'll have like the same actor or actress in them that maybe we had never seen before. But it's like, I guess she's, you know, a young up and coming actress, and she's in 2 big movies that came out the same year, I guess. But I don't know. Does that happen to you guys too? Seems like.
Yeah. I was gonna say, probably. People that are into pop culture, you know, in general would be like, oh yeah, that girl. But yeah, before those 2 movies, I'd never seen her as well. So, you know, so it's the same way for me. And I actually haven't watched The Last Duel yet, but it was shortly after I watched Free Guy, which, you know, Mike kind of turned me on to. That's the thing too, is it's kind of like, as long as one of us catch it, we can all kind of share it with each other, because I'm not watching all the keeping up on current pop culture things in general anyway either. So
yeah, I'm usually a little behind too. I mean, most things I catch when they show up on streaming. Free Guy I thought looked intriguing, and you know, I had wanted to see it. Last week you guys were talking about, one of you was saying that
Patrick,
there was like a bit, he was saying a big moment did not get spoiled for him, and that moment did get spoiled for me on one of those random reels on Facebook. Like, well, some TikTok or something. Like, someone showed that scene as a reel, like a few days before I ended up watching it, and spoiled it.
Sucks.
But it was still a fun movie. You know, I will say though, like, I think I would have liked it more if I went into it not knowing anything about it. I do try to avoid trailers ever since Batman versus Superman, the final trailer, kind of seemed like it was like a Cliff's Note version of the entire movie, and so there weren't any surprises once I watched the movie. And so I've been sort of like Mike, turned off the trailers. Sometimes I'll watch them on mute just to sort of get an idea of what the movie looks like. With the Batman, I watched the first trailer that came out over a year ago, I think it was. And I really haven't seen anything since, other than, you know, real little teasers. I've done a pretty good job of avoiding that. But with Free Guy, as far as like the whole concept, you know, that I had somehow picked up from trailers or discussions anyway, and then like some of those big fun moments were spoiled too. So I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I went into it blind.
Yeah, definitely. I think that kind of applies to so many movies. Like, I feel like the teaser trailer is enough in most cases, you know?
I'll tell you, something I really enjoy doing is watching, let's say, classic movies from when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know, I have good memories of watching some movies like Rear Window or something with my dad, you know, movies that were from when he was younger, and we would watch them on TV and stuff. And I'm kind of on the other side of that now. And so we'll watch some movies from, like, a few weeks ago we watched The Sixth Sense, which I think I saw with you guys in the theater. I remember going to a movie theater for the first time ever that had stadium seating. I know that Pincheck was there. Oh, sorry, Mike was there. Yeah. I think, was that down in West Virginia? Do you guys remember that?
No, I saw that in Butler, I think, still. with like Jason and
Yeah,
Johnny.
it was that
the whole
crowd
group.
that I saw it with. But we went to a movie theater that had the stadium seating, and that was the first time I'd ever even heard of that in a movie theater.
Right.
And
You
I remember
recall
being
that,
with you
Mike?
guys too, but I don't remember where that theater was. Like
Yeah,
it
I don't
wasn't
remember where
in
the
Butler.
theater was, but I remember seeing it
Yeah,
with
so
the whole group.
I thought maybe it was in West Virginia when we went to see Kevin. But if you're saying you don't think so, maybe it was somewhere just towards Pittsburgh or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know I saw that with you and that group. But anyway, I watched that with my daughter because I thought I saw a meme about referencing the movie and kind of spoiling it. If kind of operating on the assumption that everyone's seen this movie that's 20
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
So I thought I better watch this movie with her before it accidentally gets spoiled. Like for instance, Psycho was for me. Like the only thing I knew about Psycho was that she was getting stabbed in the shower, and that was supposed to be a big don't tell your friends when that movie came out. But then it's in the commercials when it would be on TV when I was a kid.
Right.
So we watched that with her, and it was a lot of fun. And then another one that we watched, talking about trailers giving too much away, was Terminator 2. She hadn't seen any Terminator movies, and the first one isn't great. The second movie is like probably my favorite action movie ever. I just think it's a masterpiece. And so I wanted to watch that with her, and just sort of gave her a Cliff's Notes summary of what happened in the first movie, so that she would know what she should know going into the second movie about the robot from the future that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's killing all the Sarah Connors and to try to keep her from having this son, right? And the guy that came back to save her ends up being the dad of the kid, right? And they kill the thing, except the arm ends up the only thing that's left, So we start watching the second movie, and it didn't even occur to me until a half hour into the movie. And I almost hesitate to say this because maybe there's younger viewers who haven't seen this movie yet. So I won't even say it, but the scene at the mall where they're in the corridor and the two different Terminators are coming from either direction, closing in on, and John Connor's kind of in the middle.
Yep.
She didn't know. I guess I'll have to. She didn't know which one was which.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you have the one that looks like the bad guy from the first movie, and the other one that looks like a cop. And so that was just set up to be a plot twist in the movie. You'd turn on, you'd see commercials and ads about that. And it just, it never even occurred to me that was supposed to be a shock until watching it with, somebody else who truly was completely going in cold.
Yeah, we talked about that privately already. And I told you that was I use that as my biggest spoiler thing that makes me angry of all time. I think about how that if they wouldn't have let us know that Arnold was going to be the good guy in the trailer or whatever, that could have been the most epic reveal since Empire Strikes Back. It could have been great. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, I guess they wanted to showcase the special effects of the T-1000, and so I guess that could have been tricky to show. It seems like they could have cut the trailers in a way that didn't make that obvious. Who is
Agreed. But it was good you could appreciate it through your daughter again. So
I have one more kind of a funny story along those lines. At Christmas time, we watch a lot of Christmas movies, and we were sort of running out of movies to watch. We were sort of looking for things to watch, and we decided to watch Jack Frost with Michael Keaton, knowing that it, by all appearances, was garbage. But we like Michael Keaton, my wife and I. So we thought. We thought, we do. I mean, he's just great in general, even aside from the Batman movies. He's always fun, right? So it's like, even if it's a bad movie, it's got Michael Keaton in it, so at least it won't be a total loss, right?
Complete
So
waste. Yeah.
we decided to go ahead. Like, why not check it out? And my daughter, the same one. Like, I've got 3 kids, but like the other 2 don't hang out with us as much, right? So she's gonna watch this movie with us, and she didn't get a look at like the poster for it before we started it. We just like, we're gonna watch this Christmas movie, Jack Frost, and so it gets well into the movie, and he I don't know, half hour in, he dies, and then they're showing this that night. They're showing a snowman out of the lawn, and they're playing this music like something magical is about to happen. And my daughter very quietly just goes, "Oh no!" We just started laughing. She didn't know what the movie was about, and when she saw that this stupid thing was going to happen,
Yeah.
That's what
she
she
like had this
realized.
dread in her voice.
Yeah. 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 They don't utilize that as a tool to make movies great like they should. That's for sure. So.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next thing we wanted to talk about, Mike. I know you weren't able to get to your Saturday short show this weekend due to what we'll just say life.
Yeah.
Which, is the reason that a lot of us can't get around to this unless it's a full-time job and it pays. Obviously I give shout outs to all these professionals that do such a great job at this kind of thing. But, if it's paying the bills, it sure is a lot easier than if you're just doing kind of extra as a hobby like we do, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
And yesterday, of course, the time was used to go to the Fairfax Comic-Con. So
yeah, we did that. Yeah, we did that as on top of everything else that was happening. So, but anyway, you wanted to kind of do a small kind similar to Saturday short show today to still keep people informed as to what we got coming up on eBay this week.
Yeah, so we've got the Saturday short show on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, wish I had a bigger desk. So the first listing, these are all going to be listed this coming week, and we've got Cobalt.
Okay.
From Milestone.
Yep.
This is number 1. It's the first appearance of Cobalt, and I think this was a 16-issue run. We have 1, which I showed you there. Number 6.
Okay.
Number 8. Number 9. Roll through these pretty quickly.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise. Number 10. And 11.
Okay.
So it's a little 6-book lot.
Nice.
I'm not, from what I have read, Cobalt has not been solicited or anything. There's no word on him returning in the new Milestone books. So this next one, let me get my notes because I don't want to mess these up.
Okay.
So this is from Allegiance Comics. This is Bass Reeves, or it's U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves number 3.
Okay.
The awesome thing about this book is this is based on a real man. He was a U.S. Marshal in Arkansas and the Oklahoma territories, and he lived 1838 to 1910. So this is number 3. Number 4 is available digitally. It hasn't come out in print yet. And these are only available at Walmart, which makes them a little difficult to find.
Yeah.
So we've got number 3 coming up.
When did that come out?
That one was, you asked me these questions. I'm not prepared.
Sorry, man.
That's right. Surprisingly, it was last year.
That's what I was going to say.
I think mid 2021. It has been quite a few months for that issue.
So it's pulling a saga. Got it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Next, for fans of JFK, this is Department of Truth number 1, the Jenny Frisian B variant.
Great cover.
Yep. It's really nice there. And finally, we have the Oz Effect storyline in Action Comics. So we've got the
is that a lenticular too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got all the parts here. And this kind of leads us into a subject we're going to be talking about in a couple weeks, which we'll look at it from two different viewpoints. The best gimmick covers.
Oh, gimmicks. Okay, yeah.
And the worst gimmick covers.
Okay, yeah.
So that's something we can all bring to the table.
Okay.
Come up with our favorite ones. So those are all coming up this week.
I don't know if I'm ever going to come up with a worst because I just kind of love them all.
Yeah, well,
I'm a real sucker for a gimmick, you know.
I already have the worst. I already have the number one worst. When I first came up with the idea, I started jotting some down.
Yeah.
And it's the worst.
Did you want to reveal it now, or you want to keep it a secret?
I don't.
From the show?
It's a
Okay.
secret. Yeah.
All right.
I can chime in on something I think is the worst. Not necessarily gimmick cover,
Yeah.
but gimmick. And that's when they would come pre-polybag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, number one issue, don't read
it. Yeah, we'll see you at number 2.
Yeah. I guess they want you to buy 2 and open one, but even that, it's like, they try to make a big deal on the number 1, and then they seal it up in a bag. And then sometimes they throw in a trading card, too, which is not good. Also, because it's loose, you know. And I just, the idea of like putting out a comic book and then making it so that you're disincentivized to read it.
Well, you know, that's always been a point of contention with so many people with those, whether you, and I guess true collectors have decided it's definitely better to take it out of the bag, to bag and board it for collecting purposes as well, because people, it'll say it has less value with it in its regular bag, because especially if it's an old book, that's an old style bag that kind of deteriorates the book inside and stuff. So it's double.
Yeah. So there's really no way to have the perfect book.
Right.
I've had enough, I guess, with newsprint and stuff that doesn't age well anyway. And then you got this bag that, it's just a mess. That whole.
Yeah. Some of them, if they've got a colored bag on it and you can't see through it, you have no idea.
Yeah,
that book is bent, and but like Tom said, they kind of incentivize you not to open it. Collector's edition, limited edition, all this stuff that you got to keep it. But it's taken me a long time to come to the decision to I open everything.
Yeah,
all my books.
I mean,
open them.
It's one thing with the toy where it's like mint on card because they're packaged in a way that is suitable for displaying them. You might not be able to pose them, but they even make comic book covers. Those ones those X-Men covers where they'll make a Jubilee action figure looking cover, right?
Yeah.
So there's value in being able to display those, and they've got a clear bubble card and everything anyway. Even then, it's fun to open them up, but you're not completely missing out by just having it as a display piece. But with a comic book, except for the cover, you can't even see that stuff if it's in a bag.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Mike, was that it for the ones you want to have posted this week?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the run.
So also, too, I know we didn't talk about this in the past, but if for anybody who follows us on, Facebook at Exceller Comics, you also have your Be on the Lookout that I wanted you to I figured it'd be a good thing for you to kind of comment on here too. And actually, I failed to get a cover. I was thinking before we started I'd have a cover. But you posted a Be on the Lookout this week. What was that?
It was West of Sundown.
Okay.
And it's Tim Seeley is one of the writers, and it's a vampire book set in, from what I gather, the West. So I'm imagining a Western with a vampire in it. I don't recall the other writer, but final order cutoff for number 1 is tomorrow. So if you are interested in that, you better call your store.
Okay.
Go to the Exceller page. It's got a little description of the storyline, and with the because I'm unprepared. I thought I was going to have it, but
Well, the cover looks cool too. It kind of looks like it's old school, banged up. It kind of looks, that'll be an interesting book if it ever gets banged up. How you'll be able to tell if it's banged up because visibly, because the art on it looks like it's banged up. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's actually a Stranger Things hardcover book, and the dust jacket is it's just all ripped and weathered and all that, and it has a sticker on it saying, stating that it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yep. But I'll be more prepared next week with to be on the lookout.
It's kind of like the blue jeans that the kids like to wear,
right? Right. Kind of comes pre-messed up. Exactly.
I remember wearing my jeans for a long time to get them to that point. So you had to work for those ripped jeans,
Yeah. So, all right. So, if we wanted to move into, speaking of cool covers, the top 3 covers,
right,
coming out this week in general. If you want to go that route next, Mike. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll start with the 3rd most popular cover.
Okay.
We've got Punisher #1.
That's a pretty sick cover.
Yep. And this is Jesus Ciaz is the artist on this. And this finished with, I thought I was more organized. You always think you're more organized. Let me find it again. Okay, this finished with 4 votes. And the people that voted for this were Mark, Jesse, Emily, and Cora.
Okay.
So, and these books come out on the 9th.
I don't see Punisher wearing that plastic suit much anymore. Is he back in that?
No,
it was out of fashion for a long time.
Yeah, and this, I think they're getting ready to do away with it in this series.
Oh, really?
I think so. It made its first cover appearance elsewhere, but I think they're going to get rid of it in this series.
Okay.
So that's the whole subject we can talk about later.
Yeah.
And there we are with number 2. Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, #1. This is the 2nd printing. And this is by Rafael de la Torre. And basically they what Marvel likes to do, and I think it's awesome, is they take, it's also a spoiler, I think, they take a page from the book and make it the cover. So this one ended up with...
Is that for the 2nd printing, you mean?
Yes, 2nd printings, they'll do that.
Yeah. So they're not, figure, maybe you've already heard what's in there. That's
right.
Not that bad of a spoiler. That's cool.
Yeah. And this one ended up with 6 votes.
Wow.
So this we had Mike, Johnny, Patrick, Tom, Emily, and myself.
So I'm goose egging it this week. Got it.
Yep. And then #1.
It's just because there were so many awesome covers. It's not because I suck.
Yeah. This one did not surprise me. Detective Comics.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Yep. And this is 1056B. And the artist here is Puppeteer Lee. And I didn't recognize his name. I went back and looked. He has done some great covers, some recognizable covers. And he's an artist from Malaysia. But this one is just really, really great. 7 votes on this one.
Wow.
And this one received votes from Mike, Tom, Ayla, Jesse, Emily, Cora, and myself. And the winning fan this week was Emily, who picked all 3.
Okay, that's a good thing to comment on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think which ones
I'm at 7 of 9 right now. I did all 3 of the first week, and I've been 2 for 3 the next 2.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to work on a running total, and we'll see how many everybody has.
So since I'm here, I just want to comment on this. So I went with Spawn 327 because obviously Spawn's my boy, but then that's also an homage to Spider-Man #1. So that's with Haunt kind of being Spider-Man on the cover, which it's epic. It's not like any of these covers were a bad choice, right, Mike?
Right. Exactly.
I just can't believe I didn't get one in the top 3. I'm sad right now, but then Star Wars Crimson Reign #3. It's got Black Crochet, or I keep mispronouncing his name. The bounty hunter Wookiee from Book of Boba Fett's the cover, and he's epic on that. I love that cover.
Yep.
And then my last choice was that Amazing Spider-Man #92, which I just thought was a great action cover, So.
Yeah. And it's hard to beat Art Adams, but
Yeah,
three covers did. 3 covers beat Art Adams.
Right.
Well, this will make you happy.
Okay.
That Amazing Spider-Man tied with the Punisher with 4 votes apiece. And then I did my non-scientific text message to my buddy Jesse.
Yeah.
And I was not surprised.
Yeah.
I was not surprised that the Punisher was his pick, knowing him.
He would probably always defer to the least comic-y cover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Since he does not read or follow comic books at all. And then, we talked about the logo, and he said, "Oh, that's where that came from." Because he's seen the logo out there on trucks and
Oh, and he didn't even know? That's
no
crazy.
clue. He recognized the logo, never made the connection to comic books. And I wonder how many people do that. A lot, probably.
Yeah. That's
I
never thought about it until you mentioning it right now.
Yeah.
There's another logo. It might be for something to do with firearms. I think it looks like the Punisher skull, but it has a star for the nose. It looks like very similar. I don't know what it's for though. What's that?
You don't know. That's what I was saying. You don't know what it's for?
I don't know, but I've seen it with a star on the nose or something. But it's still clearly based on the Punisher one.
Yeah.
Another thing I just wanted to note, I really like that Kraven the Hunter drawing, and Kraven the Hunter looks cool. I'm not a big fan of Elektra or Daredevil Elektra mashup, whatever, but she's not really on the cover, just the sigh. And then I thought it was kind of interesting that the artist was named Raphael.
Yeah, because Raphael carries size with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that was fitting.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to talk about the stuff we got, the geek stuff we got this week. We, like you had mentioned, we went to the Comic-Con yesterday, and I thought it was awesome. It was a mini con. So anybody who's not familiar with the Fairfax Comic-Con, it there's like half a building size, and it was only, what was it? I think 6 hours, too, right, Mike? Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 6 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty short, and let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I wanted to share some pictures that I got there of the things I got there. You and I both got some, what do you call them? Just like freelance artists, new books that they put out, right?
Well, yeah, there's just self-published books.
Yeah, self-published.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. I actually got a couple of them. Man, I didn't put that picture up here either. Damn it. Oh, part of my language. But what was the name of that book? The monkey one?
It was some kind of, and I didn't even, I wasn't going to talk about that one because I was going to read it, and then that was going to be part of my reading thing. Some kind of evil monkey.
Yeah, Evil Monkey Man. Something.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah. And I got another guy, man. See, this is why we're if anyone can't tell, I'm trying to keep up, but we are short a moderator this week as well. So we don't have somebody posting these things or putting them up for us as we go. And I'm failing drastically too. So anyway, there was another one I got from another, private creator. Man, I thought I could have swore I put that picture on here. I may have just completely deleted it accidentally. So, oh no, there it is. It is called No, I didn't put it up. Okay, I'm moving along. There's another private creator, but what I did get to meet somebody. This was kind of short on kind of famous people and artists and stuff like that, since it was a mini con. Did you meet or want anybody? Was there anybody there extremely interesting to you that you even wanted to get signed, whether you did or not?
Well, I wanted to stop by and see Gary Cohn. He created Blue Devil. I met him probably 3 or 4 years ago when he was at the Fairfax Comic Con.
Did you meet him yesterday?
I didn't see him. I didn't see where he would be.
Okay.
You know, usually there's like a little artist alley area.
Right.
This was in a different location. This was at the Expo Mart. Prior to that, it was at the George Mason University. So it was laid out a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to be there. He may have been. I didn't see him.
Yeah.
But, he'll be at the same location, a different convention in a couple months, which is going to be a 2-day, much larger. So.
Okay. Well, the only one I got to see that I was really interested in seeing was young Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai. this little 7-year-old, got a picture with him, and he's a good kid. He was fun, so that was nice to see him. I love Cobra Kai. That's a great show. I've recently caught up on binging all of them, and then I'm still trying to fill in my Star Wars Marvel's Volume 1 collection. So I picked up 3 Star Wars books. It was a buy 2 get 1 free day, and then I got a couple cool Rogue One, K2SO, and Mandalorian's Cardoon pops. So that was pretty cool. And then they also had a couple dollar bin vendors that love those, of course. And, you know, it was funny. You mentioned to me before you left that you had found the one that was buy 10, get 5 free, right?
Yes.
I was looking for it, and for whatever reason, again, we're talking, this place isn't very big.
Right.
But I couldn't find it. But I did find the one that was buy 10, get 1 free.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought 22 there.
Okay, yeah.
And then, yeah, it wasn't right after I was done with the buy 10, get 1 free dollar bin vendor that I found the buy 10, get 5 free vendor. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So I ended up getting 22 dollar books there too. I ended up getting a Thing run. I didn't even look. I'm assuming that's volume 1. Was back in the day.
Yeah, I think there was only 1 volume of that.
Okay. Well then, so the current one is volume 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I got a bunch of Squadron Supreme. They had them all but 1, so I just grabbed them. Because I used to have them, but I don't have them anymore, and I love that story. So
yeah,
I grabbed all. The limited series, 12 issues.
Right. Yeah, I remember back in the day you loving that.
Yeah, yeah. So, what else? What did you get?
I got 15 comics for $10.
Right.
And they were a bunch of Thor. And the way that worked for that, the reason I got a bunch of Thor is because it was really tight and crowded, and you basically just find a gap, and that's where you start looking.
That's true. Yeah,
it was the T box.
Okay.
So I'm looking, I'm pulling all these Thor books, and I got some cool books there. And then when we first got there, as soon as you walk in, there was a whole bunch of dollar bins, and I said, that's my spot.
Yeah.
So we left early, and on the way out, I had 2 $1 bills in my pocket, and I told my son Mark, I'm like, "Hey, I know you want to get going," because he had plans to hang out with his best friend.
Yeah,
so we're gonna stop here. I have $2, and I bought these 2 books, Monster Hunters. And what's so funny, Elaine over here, as you can see on the cover of the one on the left, I think it's number 11. Elaine owned that book. These are from 78 and 79, and she read the daylights out of it.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody can really see, but because I can barely see it, and I'm right here, so I don't know if the viewers can see, but it actually has in ink written across the middle there, right underneath Hunters. It says Elaine. That's what Mike's referring to. Yeah.
Yeah. The great thing about the one on the right, I think it was number 18, is that's a Steve Ditko cover.
Yeah.
And Steve Ditko also did the backup story for that one.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, which that cover is the back is part of the backup story. So the main story in there didn't even make the cover, but put Steve Ditko on there. That's you're going to give him the cover. So
Yeah.
But those were great.
Yeah.
So we got a lot
year
of
is that from? Do you know?
Say it again.
You know what year that came out? That issue?
That one was 79.
Okay.
Yep. And we got a few of those the little Lego guys. I thought I had a picture.
Oh yeah, we grabbed a. Wait, I thought I put a picture of those up for you as well. Yeah, here they are. No, wait,
No.
Man, I must have done some accidental deleting as I was loading stuff up because I swear I put those up as well. But yeah, I got some Legos too, which those have to be a huge moneymaker for those guys. $5 a piece. Even when you buy 5, get them for 20 or so.
They're $5 a piece or 5 for 20.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent a paycheck on them. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah.
Because there were 3 different tables there.
Yeah. And they're awesome. Yeah.
They're really great. It's everything. One thing about that convention that was a little disheartening for me was there weren't that many comic book vendors.
Yeah.
There were mostly just other things. I mean, a lot of toys, a lot of Funko Pops. So if that was your thing, I mean, you were in heaven there. But
yeah, well, the artists were not artists we'd know, just a lot of private,
just some
self-publishing artists everywhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not even like comic books. They were just like they had a bunch of vendors that were just prints. They were just selling their own personal prints, Yep. So that's what I told Jesse, actually. I was like, oh, you should have come. You might have liked it. I mean, there wasn't many comic books there.
Right. Yeah. So I talked to Marcus about going to the next one, and he's really not interested. And I get it, because at 4 foot tall, everything is just way crowded.
Yeah.
It's just look at the world from that height and in crowds. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that pretty much all you got this week?
Is that yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to call Tom out since he's here. Tom, what'd you get this week?
I didn't get anything. I'm out of the comics game. Let's see.
Well, this is more a geek culture segment.
Anything, I rarely buy anything like that anymore. I sort of have to. My brother and I both kind of had that collector tendency where I think he's mentioned like we had like almost all the He-Man guys when we were a kid,
Right.
Not so much Transformers because they were expensive, impossible to do that. But I'm really just like that new Batman Batmobile that came out.
Yeah, the one Patrick
highlighted
last week. Yeah,
a little larger than Matchbox car. I'd say maybe the last geek culture thing, not related to like my costume, because I did get the 1989 version of that. And even at the time, like I had to fight the urge to get the rest of them because I just, then you got to find a place to put them. There's so many things like that. Like there's the newer Masters of the Universe, what they call them, the classic series. Like I like looking at that stuff online. The DC or Marvel Legends type, figures.
Yeah.
I like to look at them, but if I start getting them, then where do I put them? I had in the early days of the Spawn toys, I was getting those, and some other like Batman animated series figures back then, and actually when I was probably 15 years ago or something, I did kind of sell off a lot of my toys because toys take up a lot of room.
Yeah, they do.
I ended up giving my comic books last summer to my brother because he sells them a lot. It's just like I'm just never gonna be motivated. It's a lot of work to sell this stuff, right? And so I sold toys for a few months there where I have some listings, make a trip to the post office once a week, and once you kind of break momentum, it's hard to do, and that stuff just piles up. So I try to fight the urge to accumulate that stuff, even though I like it. So the closest thing I have to like a collection is like that picture of my 3 cows, and I have a few other little things around that. But
that's definitely cool.
Got it from afar for the most part.
And it's funny you're mentioning that Jada 1989 Batmobile with the Batman that that's similar to the new Batmobile. That's actually what got me into that series too. As soon as I saw that one, I had to grab it, but then I was unlike you. I wasn't as I didn't have the willpower like you had. I just had to buy them all. So I've got them all, and I'm gonna continue. But I've got the shed in the back.
I think another thing that I think when I bought that, the reason I came across it at all, I mean, I do sometimes when I'm at the store, I take a walk down the action figure aisle just to have a look at what's out there. I was looking for the 1989 Batarang that folds up that was a Neko product.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was out there, and I was, going to Walmart, and I would look. They sell those in the electronics section and the adult collectibles, but sometimes things get misshelved. So when I was on the hunt for those, I was also, walking the toy aisle and came across that 1989. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, it's tough. I can only imagine if that's the one thing you're in and that pops up, it'd be even tougher. Yeah. So.
And I did land a lot of those Batarangs eventually, and I didn't just buy one. I bought everything they had, and now they're in a box in my basement in case I ever lose the one that I use. Backups.
Yeah. I'm going to mention too that you're talking about how you used to collect the Spawn. First year or first series, or when they were first kind of fresh back in the day. Yeah. I think we have all of those in Exceller because I think your father told Johnny, hey, we need to get these out of here. So Johnny's like, hey, Kevin, you want all these? And I was like, sure, give them to me.
I had mine. I sold a lot of mine, but he had a bunch too. The early, I don't know, the first 5 or so series. I can't remember.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They take up a lot of space.
It was funny too when I was selling off some of the early Toy Biz stuff. I didn't really know what I had. I had a Spider-Man Shocker from the '90s cartoon. I'd put like a half a dozen or something out there at once, and then one would be selling for $30 or something instead of $5.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that Shocker was something that was a little bit more expensive. And then the other one that was kind of surprised me was the Toy Biz Superman, the one that looks virtually identical. That their first series that they came out with in general was this DC Comics line before they got into Marvel, and their prototypes were repainted Superpowers toys. So if you look on the back of like the Batman one, it looks totally different than the actual figure. It just looks like a black version of Superpowers Batman. Superman, the actual figure looked very similar to the Superpowers figure. Other than like he squeezes legs, he doesn't punch. He came with a kryptonite magnet, a kryptonite ring that you could wear that had a magnet that would knock him over, which was a pretty cool feature. But that one was surprisingly expensive too. When I sold it, I can't remember. It was $40 or $50 or something, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's much easier to do your research to see what's worth what nowadays. But
yeah,
we're trying.
And I wasn't looking for that. It was just I was going to sell them either way. But every once in a while, something will kind of shoot up in price and be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, we're relying on Patrick to keep us kind of in line with that kind of thing, but. I think we've got like 3 or 4 toys on eBay already, but we're looking to kind of get quite a few of them as well. And actually we're looking to be competitive to where we don't charge those what they're worth kind of prices. We charge them kind of a fair price, but keep them kind of under what they're worth to make them more desirable for people to come buy them from us as well. So,
yeah, that's a good way to move product too.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to move the stuff. Yeah, exactly. So. All right, Mike. So moving on, and I'll just get Tom out of the way real quick. Hey, Tom, what'd you read this week? Nothing.
The first half of the Book of Acts of the Apostles.
Very nice. That's a good one. Yeah. We're going towards the geek culture on this subject, but hey, it's
Oh, yeah.
Sunday. So you talk
Well,
about
you
some
didn't specify.
Bible reading. It's good. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Mike. So yeah, that's going into that. So what did you read this week?
Well, I read, and it was some heavy reading. I read Animal Castle, number 1 and 2.
That's a
And
great cover. I almost bought that yesterday when we were at the Comic-Con, but it is kind of a pricey book. You know, I mean, it's not crazy, but it's not cheap. So I passed on it, but I regret it. That's for sure. You know.
yeah, I should have used it for the picture here. I bought the 1 in 10 variant for this cover, which it has no trade dress on it, because it's just such a great piece of artwork there.
Yeah.
It's so intimidating. Like, let's see, what I was gonna do is I'm gonna read my notes here,
Okay.
so everybody's not looking at my dumb head.
Well, you read 2, 1
Yeah.
and 2, right?
Yeah, I read number 1, and there's number 2.
Yeah.
Now this series is based off of, I guess you can call it. Yeah, it's I think they were graphic novels in France. I don't think they were released individually over there, but it's called. My French is terrible. Le Château des Animaux. So I guess that's the house of the animal or the castle of the animal.
Okay.
It was 2 volumes. The first volume was 72 pages. The second volume was 56 pages, which is 128 pages. So if my math is any good, this should be a 6-issue series. So I haven't seen it solicited on how many it is.
Okay.
But what this lacks is, and Patrick and I have talked about this, what Ablaze is doing is they're taking some European books and translating them. They've done the Sumerian for the last couple years, and now they're doing this, and they're oversized books over there. They're 9 by 12. Where over here, a traditional comic book is 6 5/8 by 10 1/4. So what happens in the translation for the art, it's downsized so much. It makes it really doesn't do it justice, because the artwork in this is phenomenal. But to get to the storyline, this is, a lot of people think it's Animal Farm. It's similar, but it's
that's what I was kind of thinking when I saw it, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's similar, but it has its differences. Basically, they're all the animals are on a farm. There are no humans. They don't say why there aren't any humans on the farm. And we've got the bull is his name is Silvio, and he's the president. And then he has a dog militia. So if we go back here to that first issue, you can see his dog militia, the cat in the front foreground there. Oh, I mean, there's going to be some spoilers here.
Okay.
So I thought of a new way we can do it. If you don't want spoilers, when you see the cover on the screen, that we're going to start talking about it, and then you can just kind of fast forward until the cover is gone, and that's when spoilers will be over.
Well, that's a good idea.
So the cat right there is Miss B that you see in the front, and she's the only adult cat left on the farm, and she has 2 kittens, and she works. Everybody works, and there's a goose named Daisy that watches her kittens for her. Well, at the end, all the animals go and they're ready to get their rations for the day, and the dogs say that they're canceled. Well, then there's a small revolt, and it's pretty devastating. The last page of issue 1 is really, really brutal. So we get to issue 2, and we find out some more information. I'll just go through this quickly. There's another character. He's a rabbit. His name's Caesar, and he does what rabbits do. He's a ladies' man, ladies' rabbit, I guess. Let me see. I had a. So in the second issue, they talk about they have to gather a lot of food to barter, and what they're bartering with is wolves. And Silvio just preaches that he's the strength, him and the dogs are the strength. They protect everybody else from the wolves. And I don't want to give it too many spoilers because I know you want to read this, Kevin.
Yeah.
But so we go in issue 2, we go to find out who the wolves are, and it's really, really heavy on dialogue too. It is. Let me.
I wonder why they cared to make it smaller, like you said, since that kind of takes away from the artwork of the original way it was. Yeah. I wonder why they cared to make it smaller in a regular comic size print anyway, because we've got the what are the Black Label comics now? I mean, they're all oversized. I mean,
yeah.
Why not just kind of put it in that vein? You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it might be money. Who knows? You know, it's they're getting $3.99 per issue, and they're going to get 6 if they do Black Label. What are they going to get? 7? Are they still going to get?
Right.
I don't know how many pages Black Labels are. Are they 22? I don't think they're 22 pages, so they may get fewer books out of it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah,
you read?
It's a really, really great book, and that's the only thing I read because you've really got to pay attention to what you're reading, and everything is so tiny, and it's very dialogue heavy.
Is the lettering normal size, or is it shrunken also?
It's shrunken as well.
So this is not very, very friendly for people over 40.
right.
Yeah, with transition bifocals, yeah, it's easy.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. The Sumerian books, I haven't read those. I've got them all, but I haven't read them because it's a real chore to read those. And it's the same way. The artwork is fantastic, and they even they did some hardcover trades of the Sumerian books, and it's the same size as a traditional comic. They didn't even expand those to be larger, so you run into the same thing. Even if you save up to buy the $25 hardcover, it's still smaller. And if you want the French versions of these, it's $100 for both of them, and it's in French. So
yeah. Well, I actually read less than Tom this week, so I didn't get anything read. Well, maybe I didn't. I definitely tried to get more Mouse read. I had a couple of days where, it's kind of like eating an elephant. Even in a big book like that, you just read a few pages every day, you're going to get it done, and that's kind of where I am with Mouse. I'm less than 80 pages left in it, but so I read maybe 10 pages of that this week, but I didn't get any full comic read. I had aspirations of doing it, but I've been messing around a lot with everything with Exceller this week. I'm actually going to put up a website this upcoming week for Exceller for us to start not only selling through eBay, but selling on our website. And then we can share everything we do on our website. And then obviously the content takes some prep. And, I've just been kind of looking into all these things to move us forward this week. And it's been daunting to say the least. So I haven't kept up. I actually have an alarm on my phone that goes off every Thursday because, I'm usually picking up my new titles on Wednesday. That actually I call myself a poser. It's like, don't be a poser, read your books,
Right.
And, I actually found a pin yesterday at the convention as well that said, read your comics. That's all. It was just a pin that just said, read your comics.
Nice.
And that was Ayla's, she is a influencer without realizing it. I wouldn't even have looked at pins. It's pins. I don't care. But she saw this Ayla Sakura, which Ayla is named after the Jedi, Ayla Sakura. She saw this Ayla Sakura pin. She's like, oh, wow, I didn't think anybody'd ever have that pin. Ayla's so obscure, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. And then I saw Wolverine one. And I was like, oh, that one's cool. And then we asked the lady how much they were, and they were $2 a piece or 3 for $5. So then I'm like, okay, let's just pick one more. I'll get Wolverine, you get Ayla, and let's just pick one more. And so in the midst of looking through the rest, they had a Batman and a Captain America I wanted. So now we're at 4. So now I'm like, oh, we need to get 6.
Right.
So we can maximize cost here. So then I find the comic book, read your comics pin. And then Ayla decides, you know what? I think I don't want that Ayla. I don't know where I'm going to put that. And I was like, so now I'm stuck with 4 pins
Yeah.
that I've actually wanted now. She influenced
Yeah.
me to want them. So I actually got rid of the read your comics pin.
Wow.
And I just ended up getting the Wolverine, Captain America, and Batman, which is
Right.
cool. I put it on my backpack. Now I'm the cool kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I failed at reading this week because of all those reasons. Again, just another excuse. I'll do better. I'll do better next week as well.
Like you said before, it really puts things in perspective on these really, really well done podcasts and really well done shows. There's a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah, there is.
Like, oh yeah, we'll just do some videos. It'll be easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the editing, like I think I did a 15-minute podcast on Thursday. It was a 15-minute podcast, and well, it started like 18 minutes. And it ended up being 15 minutes because it took me 2 hours to edit to shave 3 minutes off of it. But it was, it's just it's a 15-minute podcast that I have to take me 2.5 hours to get ready.
Right.
Anyway, and I think I kind of took you away from. I think you had another. What did you watch? I think I just talked to Tom about what he watched, and then we got away from you. What did you watch this week?
Right. Yeah. Well, I watched for the second time because I was able to talk my wife into watching it with me.
Okay.
I watched Werewolves Within.
Nice.
I love this movie.
Okay.
It's hilarious. Real quickly, we'll go to this and then I'll switch back because it is based on a video game. This is a VR game. You can get it on Oculus, PlayStation VR, and HTC Vive. Basically, everybody is trying to figure out who in the town is a werewolf.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
All right, and that is the video game is a medieval fantasy town being attacked by werewolves. You have to guess who the werewolf is. The movie is based in Vermont, and you've got the gentleman in the center there. That's the main piece. He's the main character, and he's the new ranger that comes to town. Everybody else is already in the town. He's the new guy, and there's werewolf. They've got to figure out who the werewolf is.
Where can I watch this?
It's on everything, but to watch it free, it's on the Showtime Go, or I can't remember what the Showtime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Showtime.
You recommended that Toys Near You on Prime last week, and I couldn't find it. It's definitely on Amazon Prime.
It's definitely on Prime. I'll double check, but it's almost positive it's on Prime.
And it's called Toys Near You, right?
Or Toy Store Near You. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up. I couldn't find it. I don't know.
Well, on Prime, we even in Prime we get a couple other extra bonus channels that we pay for. So maybe it was on one of those.
Yeah, maybe it was on one of those because we don't have any of those bonus channels. We just have which with Prime you should get everything, but apparently you don't. Yeah, which I do hate that about Prime. Whenever you go on there and there are some things I want to watch and you click on it, it's like, oh, buy now for blank blank blank. I'm like, wait, no, I didn't. If it costs money, I just don't want it on my list. Yeah,
But this falls in line. It's very similar to Shaun of the Dead. You've got your horror aspect and your comedy is just fantastic. It's really great. I loved it more the second time because I was able to kind of enjoy it a little bit more. I think there's the dialogue is fast. It's fast paced. There's a lot of stuff going on. All the characters are kind of talking at one time, a little bit like Clue, where there's these mini conversations going on, and it's well worth watching.
Well,
not for kids.
I would love to, but I'm not going to get Showtime for it, so I'm going to have to find some other way to watch it.
Yeah, well, you'll have to come over, and I will gladly watch it again.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'll take you up on that, and that just to kind of put in a game into this whole conversation, and that's totally what One Night Werewolf is. That's what the game is, where everybody takes a role in a town, and everybody has to. You literally close your eyes and simulate sleeping overnight, and you have instructions to do while you're sleeping to figure out who the werewolf is in the next day, which is
that's a tabletop game.
Yeah, it's a tabletop game.
And you have it?
Yeah, we have it.
Oh,
Totally
nice.
up your alley, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like
Is that what we're doing the next time you come over?
I think so.
Okay. All right, man. So I think we actually, with Tom's help, got all these subject covered. The only thing again that always comes up, and Johnny's not here again, is Johnny's recap. Tom, did you take notes?
No, I should.
Well, I sure hope.
And playing along at home, every episode that I listen to, when it comes to the recap at the end, I think, oh, I forgot to like. I would never be ready to do that.
Yeah. I actually have a pre-show checklist that I go through now, because we kind of all meet before the show actually starts for a few minutes, and I have to keep reminding us to do the recaps. But here's what happens: we haven't had any kind of real consistency as to whoever's on the show. Again, thank you for coming in today, Tom, as well. But I actually forget to do the pre-live reminders because nothing else is consistent. I've got no consistency with any issues to consistently remember to remind people of our inconsistencies, whatever you call it, Anyway. So okay, so let's go. I'm gonna go with one recap. I'm gonna say, and it's gonna fall into something I was gonna say at the end anyway. The show producers definitely need to remember to check poll question and comment answers prior to a show, because that makes the listeners enjoy the show more. Okay, what you got, Mike?
Mine is it's a little personal for me, which is great. Kind of propped myself up a little bit. My wife's opinion on best cover is better than everybody else's at this point in the game.
Okay. Giant Batman are cool.
Yeah.
You got to recap one thing you can remember off the top of your head, Tom?
No.
Well, he's driving too. He's like, I gotta.
Yeah, it's even tougher when you're driving.
Red lights.
Okay. No pressure. Saturday short show is awesome, even if it's on Sunday.
Right, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah.
And apparently Animal Kingdom is sick. Not only art, but the story's good too.
Especially when it's Animal Castle.
Yeah.
The Animal Kingdom is awesome, and it's spectacular.
Especially when it's a comic book called
Animal Castle. Watching, Wild Kingdom.
Right.
13.
Right. Okay, so I think
and downscaling comic books is hard on old guys.
There you go.
True. Yep. Yeah.
It really is.
It is. It's tough. Especially, do you wear glasses, Tom? You don't wear glasses, do you?
No, I'm on the verge of needing reading glasses sometimes, but I don't wear them. I had a couple drugstore pair that I had around, like, for when you need to do some kind of fine detail work.
Yeah.
But I don't really need them for reading yet. But I'm getting to the point where, it's a little uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
So, tiny print is, I'm getting to the point where, like, my kid will put something in front of me and say, "Look at this," and I have to, like, jerk my head back because they put it in my face.
Well, that's a transition I made. I just recently got used to glasses in the last year, but for like 5 years prior to that, I was doing that, where you get the 3-pack of $1, basically magnifying glass glasses just to keep her on the table nearby. Yeah, exactly. I
just sort of, you don't want to wear a lot, but just if you need them in a pinch, they're pretty good.
Right.
I used to wear glasses and got LASIK about 16 years ago. And, that's sort of the flip side of that. I think, Mike, you probably know this, but, like, when you're nearsighted and you're wearing glasses to see it at a distance, it's a little more comfortable if you're reading just to take off your glasses, because it almost feels like you're looking at the horizon. So as you age, I don't think Mike, I know people eventually need bifocals, but it probably gets put off a little bit, you know, versus me. I had that vision corrected. Now I can see at a distance, but I have to strain more. It's just, like I said, it's more comfortable to take off your glasses because you're more relaxed, the muscles in your eyes. So now, trying to look at things up close, you know, those muscles have to stretch this lens that isn't as rubbery as it used to be.
Yeah.
So that's the flip side when you get LASIK, is you might need reading glasses a little sooner.
Yeah. Yep. So also one more last thing, Blaze comics should come with reading glasses.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, like
$1
the 3D glasses, right?
Yeah, polybag some reading glasses.
Right.
Great gimmick. or one of those, you know, those magnifying glasses, because you got to be able to pack it flat. Sometimes those magnifying glasses that have like the ridges so that it's flat.
Yep.
Like they can give you a magnifying lens.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing then is an updated schedule. So there's a couple things that have kind of tweaked on this. So we're still sticking with the live stream for all of our millions of viewers and millions of listeners on the podcast. We're doing the live stream on Sunday 1-ish, and always be prepared for that. And then Monday, the podcast will be edited from the live stream and put up. Thursdays have been officially changed to podcast only, no live stream. And the podcast could come out Thursday night, but once it's done and edited, it'll most likely still be Friday the way it was. But just so basically all that's disappearing is the live stream on Thursday. That just ended up being too much. Sorry, people. And then I'm still keeping the Saturday short show live stream Saturday 10-ish there.
Yeah.
We'll see if Mike can keep that consistent in his life or not. And we won't judge if he can't. We'll just adjust.
Yeah. There's a convention. If there's a convention in town,
okay.
Maybe but maybe I got to do it earlier. It's just this week we had, you know, company from out of town came in, so it was the perfect storm to just hijack everything.
Yeah.
So
okay, so then that'll do it. Let me see if I can. We had kind of one other plan here. Let me see if I can pull this off. All right, so don't forget that reading a great book is awesome, and reading a great book is fun, and appreciating great art is awesome. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Acceler out.